So, as I'm preparing for the upcoming live Zoom workshop on the 15th and 16th of March, which is on flourishing and its geometric framework, I decided that I would do a series of videos showing you some of the things we're going to cover in the workshop on that weekend in March. So, one of these things is rather some of these things, because I've done a post already with some pictures, and so now I'm sharing the video, is to show you a very simple line ending extension that I love, which is very typical of English writing masters in the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So I'm going to do a couple variations. I've done this already because I filmed this yesterday and I had switched the sound off. So there was no sound on the video. So I'm redoing the video, which is really good because it helps me to put something else into this, which I wanted to show in the previous video, which I couldn't. Right, so here is a block of text which I printed off. So I wrote this out last week, and I've printed quite a few of them up. And to show you different kinds of flourishings and how they would work within the context of text. Now, before I actually go into the writing, I'm going to show you what I did yesterday. So I did this yesterday. So I'm going to rewrite this and talk through what it is. But I wanted to show you this. Now, when I initially did the tests, I basically had to write this out a few times because there are 6 different kinds of X's. And in the end, I quite liked this one because it was 3 swelled strokes with 2 variants or 3 variants of the jot. But in the end, I went for this. So let's get on with the writing. So I'm using a kind of Cadel based S. So this is the line I am aiming for. I'm starting up here. Now, as I'm not going to go back to this side, I'll put the hatching in. So I'm on the 55. I'm just going to lightly hatch some hairline strokes. Now, when you're doing this kind of light hatching, you're not looking at the strokes, you're just trying to make them. So this is sonnet 19. This is out of Shakespeare's sonnet, so this is sonnet 19. Now, I'm going to cross on this side, just wiping the nib of any lint. And I find with Roman numerals, or if you're using capitals within a block of text, that they really should be bigger than the minuscules, but not as large as the majuscules. So the minuscules here are that high, which is a double 6. The majuscules are a little bit higher, so they're double that. So I've made mine 1.5 times that. So I'm going to make the Roman numerals, the minuscules are 6 and 6, 12. So I'm going to make the Roman numerals 18. And I'm going to do something I call crossing the gulf. So crossing the gulf basically means I'm using a ligatured flourish to bridge two words across an interword space. So I'm going to use that to manage the jot on the I. So one of the things I find with flourishing is you have to set the flourish up. So if you don't test if you have the space to do it, when you come to doing it, you'll find that you're sort of cocking your wrist, and you don't really want that. So you'll probably notice that I've not made the shade as heavy as the rest of the text, because this ligature is not about drawing attention to the ligature. It's really about keeping that beauty in the structure of a little bit of differencing. But you want the letters that you've written to be dominant, so you really don't want the ligature to be as heavy as the rest of the words. Now, this particular type of flourish technique that I'm going to use are line endings, and I really, really love these line endings. This is one of the things that really attracted me to English Roundhand and Copperplate script, which incidentally are two entirely different scripts. So we have 1, 2, and 4. And we have 2, 4, and 2, 1, 2, and 2, and 2, 4, 2, and 1, and 4, 2, 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 4. So what I've done is I've set this up so the end, notice I've not really looked at I've already written this out left justified, so I don't need it on this end. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to right justify the endings. And in order to do that, I needed to aim for a straight edge. Now, this also needs one, so I'm going to add this at the top. And I'm going to link them so that it doesn't seem so separate. So here we have a few different kinds of flourishings used to balance text. We have this sort of Cadel construction, which actually looks like an ampersand, with some hatching. And then we have an across the gulf ligature. We have line endings, which use this 1, 2, and 4 principle, which I teach in the class on flourishing. It's a really important aspect of 18th century flourishing, English writing master flourishing. And then we have essentially a line of universal beauty loop. Again, here, line of universal beauty loop with some decreasing shapes. So these are fractal shapes, which essentially it's the same shape, but in smaller patterns. So these are some of the things I'll go through in the class on the weekend in March. That is March 15th and 16th, so do join me. You'll see the details below in the information. Thanks very much.